What's up, guys? This is Jacob with Bulldog Analytics, and today I want to walk through a scenario where you're working in Power Query and you essentially want to perform a group by. However, you don't want to output a distinct list of whatever you're grouping by with the aggregation, but you instead want to maintain the structure of your original query or your original table while also accessing these aggregated grouped calculations so that you can do additional analysis on the back end. So for example, say you've got a column with a list of products and there can be multiple lines for each product. And then you've got another column in your table that's last modified date. And you basically want to return a max last modified date at the product level so that you can get the latest up-to-date information. Now, it's not going to be the same for each product because maybe one product was modified today, another product wasn't modified past a year ago. So it's got to be at that product level. You still want to maintain the structure of your original report, but you want to be able to access this information so you can apply further analysis. All right, so I think that lays the groundwork. Let's go ahead and get into how we do this. All right, guys, as you can see, I've got an example pulled up here in Power Query. This demo should be pretty to the point. It's actually doesn't really require you getting into advanced editor. It's all using the interface, which is great because it took me a while to figure this out. But just for some insights on the example data we're using, this is actually some Azure DevOps board example data. We've got 6 different work item IDs, and it's been updated across multiple date values. So these are basically just snapshots as of a specific date, and then some other information. And really all I want to do is I want to pull the latest snapshot for each work item. So you'll see here if I sort in descending order for 4485 work item, which is this customizations board, it was last updated 2/19. If I filter for, say, 14764, you'll see that the last snapshot date it had was 5/21. So we don't want to just recognize the max date value for the entire table and then pull the work item IDs based on that, because obviously that would leave out a bunch of work items. So I want to basically identify the max for each work item and then filter on that. So the way that we can do this, and I'll just delete that last step, is very simply you select work item ID, you right click, you say group by, and then here I'm going to come down, I'm going to call this max date. I'm going to change the operation to max, and I'm going to set that on the date value. And then you're actually going to switch over to advanced. This was the piece I was missing for a long time, and you're going to click add aggregation. I'm going to title that all rows as an example, and then I'll come down here in the operation and click all rows. This grays out, click OK. Now what you see here is that differentiating max date per work item ID that I was trying to get after. So you'll see that 4 of the 6 are the same, which makes sense if they're actively making updates across different work items in Azure DevOps, but you've got a couple kind of old work item IDs that haven't been touched in a long time. So I want to basically filter down to where the max dates with the correlating work item ID match this. So what's beautiful is now that I selected that advanced feature to select all rows, I can break this out. I'm going to unselect that, and since I've already got work item ID in there, I'm going to unselect that, click OK. Now we've got all the data in here, and the way that I want to leverage it today is by just quickly creating a new add column. There might be a better way to do this, but I'm just going to say compare dates, and all I'm doing is taking the date value and then checking to see if it equals max date. Click OK. Now I can filter this to just true. I can delete that column because I don't need it anymore. And now we've got those snapshots for the most up-to-date information per work ID based on the grouped by aggregate, in this instance, max, for that specific item that we wanted to group by. So we're still able to maintain the structure and the columns of the rest of the report, but I was able to run that custom comparison column and then apply my filter to where I can close and apply. So, all right, so that's it. Pretty straightforward, maybe a little anticlimactic, but for me, it took me a while to figure out that all rows piece in the advanced breakout of the group by window. So anyways, that's it. I hope you guys found some value in this, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks.